She is right there in front of you. Conversation is easy. The energy between you feels alive. And then without a single word, without any conscious decision, her hand moves. She touches something. A small, quiet, completely involuntary gesture that lasts maybe 2 seconds. And in those 2 seconds, she just told you exactly how she feels about you. Not with words, with her body. The one communicator that bypasses the rational mind entirely and speaks only in truth. And the men who know how to read it, they never have to guess. They never walk away from a conversation wondering if she was interested. They already know. Today we are breaking down the specific self-touch signals that reveal when a woman is genuinely, powerfully attracted to you. These are not random habits. They are not things she does with everyone. They are involuntary biological responses triggered specifically by your presence, your energy, and the effect you are having on her nervous system. And once you understand them, every interaction you have will look completely different. But first you need to understand why this happens at all. When a woman is genuinely drawn to someone, her body enters a state of heightened activation, her awareness intensifies, her skin becomes more sensitive, her nervous system lights up in a way that is completely outside her conscious control, and in response to all of that internal electricity, her hands naturally drift toward the most sensitive, most significant parts of her own body. Psychologists call this self-touch behavior. It has been studied extensively and identified consistently as one of the most reliable nonverbal indicators of real attraction. The critical thing to understand is this: she is not choosing to do it. Her body is doing it in response to what she feels, which makes it impossible to fake and very difficult to hide. So let us go through the signals, one by one. The first and most powerful is the neck. The neck is one of the most psychologically loaded areas of the entire human body. It is vulnerable. It carries the pulse, the breath, the vital structures that sustain life. In behavioral psychology, exposing or touching the neck is a universal signal of openness, the direct opposite of a defensive, closed-off posture. When a woman reaches up and lightly touches her neck around, you running her fingers along the side of it, resting her hand at the base of her throat, or simply tilting her head to expose it, her body is communicating something. Her words have not said yet. She feels safe. Her guard is down. Something about you is making her feel open in a way she does not feel with just anyone. There is also a second layer to this signal that most people never think about. The neck is extraordinarily sensitive, packed with nerve endings that respond to touch. When a woman is in a state of attraction, her physical sensitivity increases. She becomes more aware of her own body, and her hands reflect that awareness by gravitating toward the areas where sensation is strongest. She is not doing this on purpose. She is simply responding to the effect you are having on her. And that response is one of the most honest things she will show you. The second signal is her hair, and while this one is widely observed, most men do not understand what it actually means. Playing with her hair, tucking a strand behind her ear, twirling it between her fingers, repeatedly adjusting it even when it is perfectly fine. All of these are expressions of the same underlying state, activated, excited, slightly nervous energy, the kind that only shows up around someone who genuinely matters. But beyond the nervous energy, there is something even more telling buried in this gesture. On a deep instinctive level, touching the hair is connected to the desire to be seen favorably. It is a grooming impulse. Her body, without consulting her conscious mind, is saying, I am aware of how I look to this specific person right now. I want to look my best. That instinct, appearing in real time during a conversation with you, is a direct signal of genuine attraction. And pay attention to the timing. If she reaches for her hair right after you say something, right after a compliment lands, right after a moment of real connection, right after you make her laugh, that timing is not random. That is her body responding to something you just created between you. Real time, no filter. The third signal is the lips, and this one carries perhaps the most direct psychological weight of all. When a woman touches her lips around you, pressing a finger lightly to them, running her tongue briefly over them, biting the lower lip gently, her subconscious is doing something very deliberate. It is drawing attention to an area of the body that is deeply, universally associated with intimacy and desire. Research in nonverbal psychology consistently identifies lip touching as one of the strongest attraction indicators in human behavior. It appears in moments of genuine wanting, when someone desires something more than the current moment is giving them. When her hand drifts to her lips during a conversation with you, her mind has already moved beyond where the words currently are. She is feeling something real, something that her body cannot contain within the boundaries of polite conversation. And that overflow, that inability to stay completely neutral around you, is one of the most powerful indicators of genuine attraction that exists. The fourth signal is the collarbone and upper chest, and this is the one most men miss entirely. When a woman lightly traces her collarbone, rests her fingers at the top of her chest, or plays with a necklace sitting at her neckline, she is engaging in a vulnerability signal. The upper chest, in body language psychology, is an emotionally significant area. It is personal, protected. People do not casually touch this part of themselves in neutral social interactions. It appears specifically in moments of genuine emotional engagement, when something is being felt deeply, when a person is truly moved by what is happening around them. When she reaches for this area during your conversation, touching her necklace, resting her hand near her collarbone, letting her fingers trail there briefly, her body is telling you that what is building between you is registering on an emotional level, not just a social one. Something real is being felt, right there, in the place where real feelings live, and you are the reason it is happening. The fifth signal is the wrist, and this one surprises almost everyone. The inner wrist is one of the most intimate, vulnerable parts of the human body. It carries visible veins, a readable pulse, the body's inner life made visible on the surface. When a woman exposes or touches her inner wrist in your presence, resting her hand face up, lightly touching the inside of her own wrist, rotating her arm to make the inner forearm visible, she is sending an openness signal, a nonverbal communication that says, I am not protecting myself from you. I am not closed. I am here and I am accessible to whatever this could become. This is one of the least talked about signals on this list, which means it is one of the most commonly seen and most consistently dismissed as nothing. Starting today, do not dismiss it. The position of her wrist face up or face down is telling you something about where she stands with you, and now you know how to read it. Now here's what you need to understand about all of these signals working together. No single gesture tells the complete story on its own. One hair touch could just be a hair touch. One lip touch could be completely unrelated to you. Context matters. What you are genuinely looking for is a cluster when 2, 3, or 4 of these signals appear within the same interaction. That grouping is something you can read with real confidence. And beyond the cluster, look for consistency. Does it happen once, or does it happen every time you are around her? The signals that carry the most meaning are the ones that appear reliably, repeatedly across different conversations and different settings. Those are patterns, and patterns reveal truth in a way that single isolated moments never can. There is one more thing worth saying before we close, and it might be the most important thing of all. Knowing how to read these signals gives you something most men never have: genuine clarity. The ability to walk into a conversation and understand what is actually being communicated beneath the surface. But that clarity comes with responsibility. This knowledge is not a tool for manipulation. It is not a technique for gaining the upper hand. It is emotional intelligence. The ability to truly see another person, to recognize what they are feeling before they have found the courage to say it out loud. When a woman's body is reaching toward you in these quiet, involuntary ways, she is doing something vulnerable. She is letting something be visible that has not yet been put into words. And the most powerful thing you can do in response is not to push or rush or exploit the moment. It is to be present, to match her openness with your own calm, grounded confidence, to let her know through your presence, through your energy, through the way you hold the space between you, that what she is feeling is safe, that you see it, that you are not going to waste it. Because here is the deepest truth underneath all of this. She has been speaking this language the entire time. Every touch, every gesture, every involuntary signal her body sent in your direction. It was always a sentence in a conversation she was hoping you could hear. Now you can hear it. And now that you can nothing about the way you read people will ever be the same again.